but it had an inside day. That's nice. Where's my face cream? Hold on here. If I could turn back time. Oh. Oh man. Going with the hot gray today. What up? What up? Gotta get a little gray going. You guys like these ones? Not as cool as the Bulls Classic, but now that I've sent so many of you guys hats, just remember that nobody can ever say Canal Desai has not sent some hats. Now let's get to work here. So look, we got Tesla earnings, a small gap up in the market. It looks like we've got just a date. Airballs, you're next. You know, I just got home. Why don't you give me a break? I was out of town. Joseph. So we got a small gap up in the market. The SPY is finally taking out this trend line that it's been really stuck in for a while. Now, trend lines are dime a dozen, so you can't really put too much credence in it. But because a lot of people have been watching this specific zone of love, the coming of age is important. But I think more important than breaking some no-name trend line is Sam. You didn't even send me your address, so you shut up. Joseph did. Plus, you're on discount. You don't even pay regular price. If you're on discount, those things don't count. By the way, so let's go back to you guys are all distracting me today. Why can't we ever just get to work here? So, one more important, the trend lines, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 days. 4 days over the 200-day moving average on the SPY. I think that's important because we've drifted over the 200-day moving average for like a couple days at a time, but we really haven't spent anything. We haven't built any bases over it. And I think that's a telling thing. So that's going to be something to really just be mindful of. The Qs is heading on its way here. Now we don't want to chase a gap up today. That's always going to be the sucker's game. But we are starting to clear out just some basic ranges here that we will just have to kind of be mindful of. So a little pullback at the open, I think would be really, really bullish. We may fade out some of this gap, but just because we fade off some of the gap doesn't necessarily mean it's a fader today. Now Tesla's obviously gone bonkers. Part of that is that it's just been so beaten down. Obviously, this was $500, but this, we're not even back to where we were in December. So that's why you've got kind of this pent up demand in this thing. Can you chase Tesla up for, can you chase Tesla up 10%? Nope. Right? It's too thick, too many shares out there. So just be mindful. This would be a classic. If it faded off the gap and scared everybody down and you got down into say, the 50-day moving average or something along that end, right? Let it fade its gap and freak everybody out and then start to see if it starts to hold around the 9 EMA, 20 EMA, somewhere on the daily chart too, start some kind of confluence of things. That'll be important, right? So just got to be mindful of that. Let's take a look at the gappers today. And there's been a lot of really good speculative names been going beyond just large caps going. We've been having small caps and mid caps also going. Let's take a look at the earnings plays today. Whoa, XM, Qualtrics International swings to Q4 profit, rising revenue. Ooh, so a multi-beat. We haven't been seeing really any of that. This is a really, really big base here. You got the 200-day moving average on top of this thing coming up on the kitchen. I would roll with this thing and 2 million shares in volume. That's nice. I mean, that right there is that's some good old-fashioned God-fearing Christian fun right there. Keep that. TCBY. Ooh, is the yogurt company. TCBY. Too spiky. So look, see this? When you get tails like this, these wicks are sellers, right? So this is a pump and dump stock, right? Which is fun if you're doing the pumping and the dumping, but not if you're anybody in between that. And so unless you're the first to buy and the first to sell, this is a no buenos, right? This is how you lose family. Right, see, this goes from 10 to 5. I mean, that is, that's not a good scene right there for you, right? Good, 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 good. Oh, I posted the damn link. Hold on. Hold on. You guys are fucking crazy. I posted this thing. 9 o'clock on the dot, Chris, as always. Okay, now let's go in. This TSSL, that's just ETF for Tesla. Let's remember that I haven't missed a non-hangover day in like a decade. Only couple days I've ever missed a chat room have been from excessive inebriation and the possibility of some women's. I don't even skip. Like if I'm just hanging out with dudes and I'm hung, I never skip. It's only if there's a possibility of some women's. All right, STX. This is nice. This is like a shitty trader, but this is a nice chart. You get a 200-day moving average remount. It's a little bit thin on volume, but by the end of the day, it usually kind of comes through. I would add that. Ooh, CBNA's got a little push. This is probably just rolling with the Tesla news. You are right on the support here. If you need something a little bit more speculative, I think this could pick up some steam. I'd actually add this right now. Let's add that. MTTR. Whoa. I love the chart on this. This to me reminds me of a little bit more of like a swing, where you're kind of, it doesn't have like the crazy liquidity and stuff that you need, but like it's just got like that nice daily chart. And we've seen like this type of chart like really get some juice going. Let's see here. There is some news. Is today the 26th? Matterport to provide digital twin platform for John Deere's worldwide operations. Well, first of all, as a true man of the South, is this fucking company's going to do just, just a little bit of business with the good old fashioned people of John Deere? That's a Deere with a John. Like that's the type of company that I want to be a part of right here. Like they're doing the business, guys. Like they're doing stuff, but it's business, and they're doing it with John Deere. I mean, the God's greatest gift of companies. Not only can you get yourself a hat at John Deere, but you can get yourself a goddamn tractor. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what makes America, America. We're adding this thing just for the John Deere. That's nice. Add it. It's thin, but who knows? I like that too. We're going to narrow this list down. Don't worry. NIO's thick, man. It's thick. That is thick. That's too thick for us. It's better to trade XPEP, some of these things. Billy's been really tightened up over here too. Obviously, this one is going to be, you just can't chase these damn gaps on these things. You can hit it. You need almost a deeper pullback than even the 9 on those things. Like that's, I think PDD might be a little bit better location. It does have 4 green days in a row, but they were not big green days. Like, so when I say like you never want to buy breakout after 3 green days, see how like these are just all sideways. So, you have to take that in context. Like, are these really, they're green candles, but it's not really, price has not been going up for 3 days, right? There's that small caveat. You know who Sonic actually does literally the best one. I wonder if he'll post one in the chat room for us. TJ, get us a little bit of juice. Add this PDD and $100 roll. $100 roll has not been a thing for a while, but $100 roll is like, it is a actual tried and true thing. When stocks bust over 100 and they're in like a good trend, hold on, let me get my fucking face creams on here. When they get themselves in a good trend, like you can get yourself a push. They usually run into the 120s. Not that day, of course, because this is a $100 billion company, but like they usually run into the 120s relatively quickly, like in a matter of weeks, usually. The $100 roll was always a thing for, it was always a thing back in the day. Like I keep this on the watch list. No China stock can be chased on a gap up. Let it pull back to the 9 EMA, 20 EMA, and I think you're going to have yourself a little bit of fun there. PST looks fun. Hey, all these crypto stocks look decent. I think probably the best out of the group is this coin, just because you got, like, right, you got to get rid of this shit. Right, if you look at kind of more of a 30-minute chart here, always a line, right? So you got daily minute, daily chart. You can do hourly, 30-minute, 15-minute. Jason does 15-minute. I like to do 30-minute just because it looks a little bit cleaner. But you can do, 15-minute too. That's all the same stuff. If you just want a little bit more granular look, you can see you've got kind of a trend line break that's coming in at the 15, 30-minute. And Joseph, don't you worry. You're going to get you some nice present now. I said, I just remembered about that. Let me add that to my to-do list. I got a to-do list. It's got 4 years worth of projects in it. Send that, Joseph. Small D Torrance. Pack. Oh yeah, and I'm missing all Brent Wallace. Joseph, small D Torrance. Good. That's probably top of the list too. Now let's look at some offshoots of the good old-fashioned Tesla. So with Tesla running, right, we want to look at some EV companies, some battery companies, these kind of things. Airball's charts like he has sex, but 15 minutes of passion. That's what you got to love about him. How many people can get that much passion going in such a short amount of time? What if he's got like his trading view charts up while he's doing this? He's like, baby, I beat my time. I beat my charts today. Before this candle goes, I shall provide you with the essence of life, where all things start. I digress here. 56. Add it. Now let me go back. So like with Tesla ramping, right? With Tesla ramping, we want to look at some of these EV companies. So, we've got Lucid over here, only up 5%, but you can see you're clearing out some levels here at the 9 spot. This one kind of trades, let's say it trades like shit, but close to it. It's thick, right? It's thick. We want to trade stuff like airballs as wiener, right? We want thin. Right? We want thin and nasty. So we want something more like a Rivian. You've got a flag breakout that's developing here. You can't chase up on the gap either, right? So just let this thing pull back. Let this thing pull back. Somewhere in this zone, maybe like 19, give or take. But we'll watch the 9 EMA, 20 EMA on the daily. I think this is probably, if Tesla gets some hate, then this is going to be probably a little bit of a short squeeze. Let's just look at a little bit of an EV list here. So on 2000, right, we always have these kind of, you can make lists for anything. So let's take a look here and see if there's just any kind of juicy stuff happening. Because, you have some of these that have really good daily charts too. So beyond, hold on, I'll post a link in the chat room so you guys can have the list. Now, now let's get this thing. What the fuck? Tesla, NIO, XPED. Right, this one's got a little bit more work to tighten up. I don't think this is ready today on the daily, just because you just need that kind of little bit of curl up, but it's getting there. This arrival's been sitting on this support. It was a pump and dump in a way, but you've got this big support here at 39. Man, that's like, you've got a good spot there. Got a good spot there. Like that can get picked up. LI's got a trend line break that it's coming out of. You got Lucid, Aero. See this CHPT? Like that to me looks like that probably is more of a swing trade stock. I haven't tried to day trade this for a while, but what do you think? That's got a good look to it. Well, and what we want to do is like run a scan through this thing. So like keep your list, then run a scan through it, right? So like have it refresh maybe every hour, every minute or so, and start to put in some volume alerts, trend line alerts. You know, I got alerts set on all these things already. Like see something like this, like set alerts everywhere, right? So then if you start to see either some liquidity come in, or if you start to see, right, something breaking of the trend lines, right? I got one set on this at 142. See this QS? Now that's that's hot, right? And if the market's going to cruise today, like we don't want to be trading any of the Microsofts and stuff. Like we want to, with this Tesla thing going, like we want to be knee deep in the muck. Like we need to be knee deep in the muck. That's that right there. That's what we're talking about, right? See this sorry for swing. See this blink 182? Like you got a nice level that's developing on this one. Right? Set trend lines on all these things. Like this thing, that's something right there, right? So we want to kind of keep an eye on all of this stuff right here, right? You got maybe about 538. You set alerts on these, set double alerts. You don't miss anything. That'll just be a nice way. You can even, like a Nicola might pick up some steam. See this ride? I got alert at 132, right? If you start to break over the 50-day moving average. And the reason you want to set the alerts is so that you don't have to sit there and watch like every name, right? So like you have like only so many names. You can watch so many bandwidth. For some of you guys that are like really smart, your bandwidth might be, I can watch 10 stocks, right? I can watch 10 stocks, 15 stocks, 18 stocks, whatever it be. For some of you guys, airballs, your bandwidth is like, okay, I can watch one stock, half a stock, right? Like, so you just got to always think like, okay, where, you have to know you have to know where you are as a trader, right? In terms of how many stocks you can watch and all this kind of things, right? So, that always, and it doesn't really have anything to do with how much money you can make. You can make money trading the same stock over and over just as you can, trading a million of them too. See this workhorse? Like add all this stuff. If Tesla does not just fucking crash down, then you may get a full-blown ramp in some of these, like, right, really, really beaten down names. And so set alerts for everything. We'll be good to go. And then we want to just be really, right? We want to be really, really watching, make sure that we keep an eye on all this stuff. Good. I don't know if FSR is, because he had to remind me of the hat situation. I'm very sensitive about those hats. You guys know this. These things are my lifeblood. All right, cool. All right, let's get back to this. All right. Add one more. Airball's my favorite person, man. Even though he gouged me on this PS5, I still love him. All right. EVGO 620. All right. Now let's go back through this. Our list is getting too big. Shop, you can still keep playing, man. This week really kind of mentioned, but I think this one's up too many days in a row for us now. I like Coin because it's a little bit more coiled up. BA has a level here. Ryder, I go 215. All right. BA, go 215. That's gonna be his spot. Take friends with benefits out. Take all-time favorite EHTH you can do for a day two. Blop. That's a no buenos. This thing is too zigzaggy. I love the chart on this. To me, this looks more like a little bit of a swing verse, right? Like something else. I would keep that one. No buenos. Amazon is top of the list. Amazon top of the list. XM, STX is good. MTTR. I think CVNA we can roll. Woo! And then we want to keep all these, right? All these little EV companies. Yeah, we want to keep these EV companies, all these bad boys really have, right? You've got some levels on these things. You know, even technically this FFI had a little bit of an inside day. We got a lot of fun we can do today. All right, and then don't forget the China stocks. PDB, Billy Bong. Yeah, I really like this XM too. Man, I like the look of this too. MTTR is a little bit thin. It'll need to come back a little bit. I think this thing could go pretty much off the bat. So make that, that's probably a 6 windows. Let's add one more speculative little squeezy name, right? BYD had a little bit of they had kind of 2 little rest days here after this big trend day. Let's see if this thing kind of comes in and attacks that 17 spot. If we attack that 17 spot, we're going to have ourselves just enough for fun. Hey, Lucas, that shop looks fine. You know, you just want to be a little bit careful because it's a little bit extended on the daily. Hey, Robert, Becca Lupe. I think, I don't know, 190s in the cards. It's a far way away, but you know, you have a nice trend. But you got to remember, this thing's up 60%. So, you know, inevitably you'll know after the first couple dips, you know, at some point it'll dip off. And when it dips, then you'll know, like, okay, this thing is ready for some fun. FCX is not thin. It's actually thick, right? It's got multi-billion share flow. Hold on. Hey, Arvin, what's up? Yeah, it's not thin. It's thick. You can see, and yeah, like you can always tell, like use the 5-minute ATRs on some of these stocks. You know, like you'll always see, right? Like a different, like see this, like if you're looking at 5-minute ATR on right coin, it's right same price as FTX, but it's right, it's almost double. So it's not, it'll be just fine. I don't know if FCX is like a red to green type of stock. I guess sometimes at the open it does thrust. Okay, you know what? Sometimes you just have to check the open of a couple days and then see like if it has the ability to thrust, right? Thrust and bust. Thrust and bust. That's the questions you always got to ask yourself. Thrust and bust. Thrust and bust. You got to sell out of that thing quick. All right, that's the list. It's good. That's a good old fashioned. That's a good old fashioned list right there. And you know, I'll have some offshoots of some of these things. All right, that's the list I'm sticking to it. Anybody got any questions? Rock and roll. Let's do it, guys. Let's have some fun.